We're going to talk about the Tavistock Gender Clinic now. Of course, hugely controversial, closed down earlier in the year, and it is at the centre now of another storm after a Conservative peer lashed out at the Institute's decision to approve testosterone and a mastectomy for a 22-year-old who has 14 mental health disorders.
So in a tweet, Zach Goldsmith said the decision was barbaric and compared the procedure to a lobotomy.
Well, Tavistock, as I said, was due to be shut down earlier this year, but its closure's been delayed until 2024. Stephanie Davies-Arai is the director of Transgender Trend and joins us now. Does Zach Goldsmith have a point in all of this? Somebody with those, that sort of volume of mental health problems, should they be able to have this kind of, life-changing surgery?
Well, let's look at what we're talking about. We're talking about a 22-year-old who attended the Tavistock at age 14. So at age 14, this girl who'd been put in care, who was autistic, who had mental impairment, and post-traumatic stress disorder, so incredibly vulnerable and traumatised child, went to the Tavistock first at age 14. The Tavistock Child and Adolescent Gender Clinic has now been closed, but they referred her on to adult services where she will get no care at all for those very complex issues that she has, and she's being put onto testosterone and having a double mastectomy. Now that is going to leave her, let's be clear here, with a beard for life, with possible fertility issues, with no breasts. These are irreversible treatments that will not help her with all the issues that she is experiencing. In fact, it is likely to give her extra trauma in the long run.
Stephanie, your concerns must be when you look that the Tavistock referred her to adult services. It says a lot about what the Tavistock is qualified to do or can do, does it not?
Well, it shows that, in fact, when a 14-year-old girl with that number of background issues comes to the Tavistock, then medical health professionals should be saying to her, you don't belong in a gender clinic. You need to get this issue, all of these issues sorted out. We're referring you to professionals with expertise in those areas. And yet, because we focus on gender so much, all other issues are not taken seriously as potential causes for the gender distress. And she's simply referred on for treatment that is hugely invasive and irreversible. She will have the effects of testosterone for life. This young woman also has a history of violence and substance misuse. So giving her testosterone doesn't seem to be like a very good idea to help with those issues.
Just finally, on the Tavistock Centre itself, there was this scathing independent review that was commissioned by the NHS, which has led to the closure of many of those services, particularly in relation to young people. Do you think the lessons from that scathing report aren't being learnt if we are still allowing cases like this to go ahead?
OK, the problem here is that hopefully those issues will be sorted out after Dr. Hilary Cass's review of the Tavistock and the setting up of new services that will be more holistic and will have a team of experts, a multidisciplinary team to look at all the issues that children are presenting with now. So hopefully that will go ahead. Now, the problem is there's not a continuity of care. Once a child turns 17, they're referred to adult services that have exactly the same approach as the Tavistock did, which is basically affirmation of gender and informed consent. And that was found to be harmful at the Tavistock. The NHS now needs to look at the adult clinics where young, vulnerable adults are going. Those vulnerabilities and those mental health issues don't stop when you turn 17. They're still there. But these children are then signed off, as we've seen even in this case, for irreversible treatments, hormones and surgeries.
so complicated, or maybe not. Maybe it should be much more simplistic. And Stephanie Davies-Arai, thank you very much indeed. Stephanie's the director of Transgender Trend.